So now we will see what are the learning objectives. So we will see this AML crypto system. So what is the algorithm? What are the steps? Then we will see example on the algorithm. So it was designed or developed by T. Elgamal in 1984. So this is a public key scheme. So what is the meaning of public key? Different keys will be used for the encryption and decryption, and also very important, discrete logarithms. So that is when we use the powers, exponential powers, so we will call it the discrete logarithms. So only this related to the Diffie-Hellman technique. So that we will see, and especially this will be used in the digital signature standard, which is DSS. Okay, so this algorithmal crypto system will be used in the digital signature standard techniques. So this is some brief history. So mainly discrete logarithms, and it is a public key scheme, and it is related to the Diffie-Hellman technique, and it will be used in the digital signature standard. Now we will see the algorithm. Please write down the steps clearly. So we know in the Diffie-Hellman key exchange, the global the numbers are Q and alpha. So what is a Q? Please tell me what is a Q and what is alpha. Anyway, alpha is written as it's a primitive root of Q. So alpha is what? Primitive root of Q. But what is a Q? Okay, is already written. It's a prime number. So Q is a prime number. Alpha is a primitive root of this prime number, which is Q. So how to find a prime number, primitive root we have seen. So generally the Q we will assume generally for large number for more security. So yes or no? All of you know, right? How to find the primitive root of any prime number? Please confirm. Yes or no? All of you, please share your videos. All of you, please share the video of yours so that I can know that you are in active mode. Everyone, 17 fellows are there. Please share your video. Roll number 1, yeah. 3025, 3031. So I hope all of you know how to find the primitive root of Q. Now, what are the steps? So I will give some basic ideas. See carefully. There is a user A and here user B. Now see carefully. If we want to transmit a message to the A, suppose we want to communicate with A. So how the procedure will start is initially A. So initially the first step will be taken by the user A. So this is the user A and user B. So here user B want to transfer some message to the A. So initially user A, so there is a global prime numbers which are Q and alpha. Now using this Q and alpha, this user A will assume some random number XA which is less than Q. And this XA we will call it as a private key. Please remember, when the user B want to transfer something with security, So actual process will start from user A. So using Q and alpha and XA private key, this user A will generate public key as YA is equal to alpha power XA mod Q. This we know already in the Diffie-Hellman key action. Yes or no? Please confirm.
Yes, sir. We know this.
So again I'm repeating, if user B want to communicate with the user A, the process will start from the user A. So this fellow generates randomly private key and public key will be generated by using the prime number, private key, and this this alpha is called primitive root. So once it is done, so I can say private key anyway. Private key is XA, and the public key can be denoted by something like this: Q, alpha, and Y. Because these three things can be known by any user which are there in that particular network. Up to now, is this clear? So user A has to receive something from the user B, but actual process will start from the user A. Up to now, is it clear? All these points? This is anyway we know already. XA means a random number which must be less than prime number. Under that private key, we can generate a public key that can be transferred to any user which are there in the present network. Now, what this fellow will do? So this is the key generation from the user A. Now, user B will encrypt. Now see the encryption. So user B will encrypt the message as follows. How we will see as follows. How? So user B knows public key of user A. So that means he knows these things: Q, alpha, and Y A. So let's assume message. Remember here, message integer value as M, and this must be in between 1 and Q, or generally Q minus 1. Okay. So we can write Q, M less than Q simply, M less than Q. All of you, is it clear? So see, if the message is a very lengthy, so we can convert it into some block, and each block integer can be M value. Clear? Now one more. So this is a message, so no need to assume actually the message value will be there. So but it must be less than Q. Now this is step 1 by the user B. So step 2 is assume, one more assumption, assume a random integer, any random integer small k, and this is also must be same condition, 1 to Q minus 1. Okay, clear up to this? So this is a random integer small k. Any questions so far? All the points are clear? So it's a small q. Okay, now this is the main step, third step. So the user B will generate a secret key. So secret key K, capital K, which is equal to, now whenever we are generating a secret key, this fellow will use public key of user A power this K, this random integer small k mod Q. Don't confuse the capital K and the small k. So the capital K is the actual secret key which is generated by using public key of user A and this random integer small k. Okay, clear? This is mod Q, we know Q is the prime number. So once the secret key is generated, the fourth step is, so now the encryption process will start. So now he will encrypt the message as a pair of integers. So generally, ciphertext will be C is equal to some value. But in this encryption process, it is a pair of integers which is called C1 comma C2. But what is C1? C1 is equal to alpha power small k mod q is the one C1, and the C2 is the main actually, which is capital K into message value mod q. So this is the ciphertext generally we should say. Is it clear to all of you? So C1, why we need a C1, that we'll see when we do the decryption. But actual encryption message will be here, and the C1 will be used by the user A later to recover the key. So tell me, up to now is it clear? So
Yes, sir.
The fourth step is the encryption process, which is they are denoted by pair of integers C1 and C2. C1 is measured or calculated by alpha power small k mod q, and C2 is capital K, which is a secret key into message modulo operation. So once the ciphertext is generated, now this can be transferred to the user A. So C1 comma C2 comes to where? To the user A. Now user A recovers the message as follows. So how the user A recovers, or how the user A decrypt the message, decrypt the ciphertext. How? See. Now user A knows what? Q alpha YA. This is public key, and he knows private key as a XA. That's it. We don't know secret key, we don't know small k, etc. Now, the first step is to determine capital K. So he will determine capital K. How? Only he knows these things. And he knows C1 comma C2, which is coming from the user B. Now using C1 and these values he is going to generate. So capital K is equal to C1 power alpha mod Q. No, something is wrong. So here he knows, always remember, the user A should use the private key to determine the secret key. So C1 power capital XA. Is it clear? So in the first step of decrypting, capital K will be determined by the user A using the C1. This is one integer in the ciphertext. It is C1 power XA mod Q. Now, how can we get capital K? See, we know C1 is equal to what? C1 was what? Alpha power small k XA mod Q. And we know what is the YA here? Alpha power XA. So when I replace alpha power XA by YA, so it is coming as YA power K mod K. Is it correct? See this? Yes or no? Same, right? I mean, to this is the what do you call the proof. such that the capital K can be determined like this also using the ciphertext C1 integer. Please confirm, is it clear? This is just a proof.
Yes, sir.
Capital K. So this is the small k. So once secret key is known, next the procedure is to determine the message or to calculate or to decrypt the message. The second step is M is equal to C2 into K inverse mod Q. So C2 is the actual ciphertext integer and capital K inverse to generate, we have generated already K. When we use the K inverse, we will get the original message as M. So again, there is a proof. We know C2 is equal to what? C2 is equal to, we know it is a Km mod Q. Then if I substitute here, so M is equal to the capital K M K inverse mod Q. So cancel, we will get M. Okay, so not required. So just a proof. So this is how the user A is recovering the original plain text. That is the final step. So clear, all of you? Again, I will repeat. Just see carefully. So if the user B want to communicate with the user A, actual process will start from the user A. So he will assume a random value as XA, which is a private key, which must be less than Q. Then he will generate a public key as YA is equal to alpha power XA mod Q. And this is the private key and this will be the public. So public key will be known to the user B. Now user B, if the message any random value we will assume it must be less than Q minus 1 or Q. And apart from this M value, so we need a random integer small k which is less than Q again, and he will generate a secret key which is YA, which is the public key of user A over this random integer mod Q. Then the pair of ciphertext integers will be C1 and C2. C1 is generated by alpha power small k mod Q, and C2 is capital K into M mod Q. So this is the ciphertext. So once it is received by the user A, how we will recover the message? We will recover the message first to determine the capital K value, which is a secret key, using this equation C1 power XA mod Q. So XA is the private key. So only user A knows, no other fellow. So that is what is we are maintaining some secrecy. So once we know that capital K, which is a secret key, next we can easily determine or calculate the plain text or original message as using this. Clear to all of you? Please confirm. Any questions?
No, sir.
I will do an example so that you will get more clarity. So example 1, all of you take this. So here suppose Alice and this is Bob. So Bob want to transfer something which is some M is equal to some 5. Okay. So this has to be delivered to the Alice. So M is equal to 5. Now Alice, so I'm taking Q is equal to 7. This can be known to any fellow. So prime number I'm assuming as Q equal to 7. Now on the for 7, what is the primitive root? Anyone? Yes, please tell me what is the primitive root of 7? Anyone?
3, sir.
So 3 is a primitive root. 3 can be a primitive root, but how to find? Everyone knows. So write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it must be q minus 1. Similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the number which will give the alpha. This is the power, and this is mod 7. So as we are talking about 3, so 3 power 1, 3 mod 7 will give 3. 3 square. 3 square means 9 mod 7. What is the value? Yes.
2.
So 2. Next 3 cube. 3 cube mod 7. That means 27 mod 7. What is the value? I think it's 6. Correct?
Yeah, 6.
Next 3 power 4 means 81 mod 7. What is the remainder? So 4. 7, 11, 77. So 4. Next 3 power 5 means 243 mod 7. What is the value? 7 3s 21, 33. 7 4s 28.
5.
5. So the next one 243 after 243 into 3 means what? 7 to 9 mod 7. So what is the value you will get?
1.
7 4 28.
1, sir.
Yeah. So see, all the numbers are distinct, and it is 1 to q minus 1. So alpha will be 3. So this is how to find the primitive root. So alpha mod q, alpha square mod q, alpha cube mod, and so on will generate the distinct numbers from 1 to q minus 1. That is, we know already. Who don't know, just see this procedure. So yes, q is equal to 7 means alpha must be 3. There may be a chance that multiple prime numbers, sorry, multiple primitive roots possible, no problem. So now see what is the procedure. So once q and alpha known, xa, this is the assumption, okay? So this is the assumption. Assume xa must be less than q, so I can assume 5. Yes or no? This is the assumption which is less than 7. Next, we can generate YA, which is called a public key, or YA. YA is equal to what? Alpha power XA mod Q. What is alpha? 3 power 5 mod 7. Tell me, what is 3 power 5 mod 7? We have seen just now. 3 power 4 means 81. So it will be 243.
5, 5.
Correct? Huh?
Yes, sir. 5.
It will be 5. So no problem. So we will assume 5. So we are getting YA is also 5. So we may get. Now see what is the public key? Public key is what? Q alpha YA. So Q is 7, alpha is 3, YA is 5. So this is the public key, and the private key is the XA. What is the XA? We assumed as 5. So this is from the alias. Now Bob side, how he is going to encrypt the message? So M is equal to 5. And we should assume a random integer which is k, which must be less than q. So can you tell me any number which must be less than 7? So that is our wish. I am assuming 4. He can assume 2. Another fellow can assume 5. No problem. All of you clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So once we know m and small k value, now I am generating capital K, which is equal to, tell me, ya power small k mod q. What is ya? So ya is 5, small k means 4, q is 7. So 5 power 4 mod 7. Please tell me, what is 5 power 4?
625.
So 625 mod 7. So what is the reminder?
Two, sir.
Huh?
Two.
Yeah. Speak louder.
2.
Yes,
2, sir.
correct. So it's a 2. Very good. So this is the secret key. Now how to generate a C1 which is equal to what? Alpha power small k mod q. What is alpha? 3. Small k we assume 4. So 3 power 4 mod 7. 3 power 4 means 81. So 81 mod 7. It's a 4, right? So now what is C2? C2 is what? Capital Km mod Q. So what is capital K? 2 into M is 5 mod 7. So what is C2 value? 10 mod 7.
3.
So C2 is, so that means the ciphertext is what? 4 comma 3. Okay. So we cannot say C2 is a ciphertext or C1. So we should say combinedly 4 comma 3 is a ciphertext. So this is generated by the Bob. Clear up to now? Now how Alice will recover? See. Now Alice receives C1 comma C2, which is 4 comma 3. Yeah. So 4 comma 3. So that means C1 is equal to 4, C2 is equal to 3 received by the Alice. Now she should recover the original message. How? So first step is what? Capital K, which is equal to, so tell me what is the value here? So what she knows? C1 she knows, V1 power private key, which is XA mod Q. So what is C1? 4. What is XA? XA assumed was? XA was 5. So 4 power 5 mod 7. So what is the value we will get? Hmm. Four, 5, what is the value?
2, sir. 4 power 5 is 1024. Total is 2.
1024 mod 7. So see, so actually the key sharing is this is the happening. So is it a key is shared securely? Yes. No one knows, but the whoever is Bob is creating the key or calculating the capital K, that is exchanged to or given to Alice without knowing to anybody, or we can say securely exchange, because here Alice is using her own private key to generate or to calculate the secret key. Now what is the next step? To recover the original message using this secret key. How? So she knows capital K is 2. Now M is equal to C2 into capital K inverse mod Q. So what is C2? C2 is 3 and the K inverse means 2 inverse. This is the multiplication, okay? Mod 7. So we cannot find 3 by 2 mod 7. Now I'm going to do like this. 3 mod 7 into 2 inverse mod 7 and overall one more time mod 7. Can we do this like this? Yes or no? So what is 3 mod 7? Directly 3. Yes or no?
Yes.
But how to find 2 inverse mod 7? So what I am doing is I am assuming some x is equal to 2 inverse mod 7. So if you recollect from the Diffie-Hellman key exchange, if this 2 inverse is coming here, it can come out as 2x mod 7, which must be equal to 1. Yes or no? If you recollect,
Yes.
it was something like this. B is equal to E inverse mod 7 from the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. Yes or no? So 2x mod 7 is equal to 1. Now, how can we find x value? Please recollect. This product must be more than 1 time or 2 times of 7. So 2 into some value, which must be either 8 or 15 or 22 like this.
X equals to 4, sir.
So if I assume x is equal to 4, then it will be 8 mod 7, which will give the remainder as 1. Correct? Another case, what can be the another case of x? We should get 8.
11. 11.
No, 11 is not for, okay, 22. You are
Ha,
saying?
X is 11.
Okay, correct. So x can be 11 also because 11 into 2, 22. So 7 3 is 21, remainder will be 1. So either x is equal to 4 we can use, or x is equal to 11 also we can use. But can we use x is equal to 11?
No, because it's greater than Q.
Yeah. So we can use x is equal to 4. So that means this 2 inverse mod 7 is the answer is what? 4. Got the point here? 2 inverse mod 7 will give the answer as 4.
Yes, sir.
So not 1, it is an x value. So we should substitute. So x is equal to 4. That means capital M is equal to 3 mod 7 means 3 into 4 mod 7. So what is the value we will get? 12
5.
mod 7, which will give the 5 value as well. So that is at least recover the original message or original plain text. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
This is the what you call the summary. Just see carefully. Q is a prime number, alpha is a primitive root of q, which must be less than q. Then we have to the key generation by the Alice. So that means Bob is sending some message to the Alice. So select a private key XA, which is less than q minus 1 or 2, you can say. Then calculate R by A, which is a public key. So generally, we cannot say public key here. The public key can be denoted by like this. The Diffie-Hellman key exchange, this is the public key. But here, public key should be denoted by Q alpha and YA. Please remember that. And the private key is at XA. Now, Bob, how is encryption? So plain text M, which is less than Q. Now select any random integer, which is small k, which is less than Q. Then calculate the secret key, capital K, by this equation. Then calculate C1 and C2, and the ciphertext will be denoted by C1 comma C2. Now, when that ciphertext is received by the Alice, now decryption by the Alice will be like this. C1 is the private key, sorry, ciphertext. Then calculate K, the secret key is C1 power XA mod Q. What is XA? Private key. And finally, plain text will be recovered like C2 into K inverse mod Q. Any questions?
No, sir.
So now you do this. I'm giving some time, 5 minutes. I'm giving to all of you. Do this. So here Q is 71, alpha is 7. If B has public key YB is equal to 3 and A choose the random integer K which is equal to 2. Now what is happening now here? Now A is sending to message to the B. Now this is like this. So B should generate this public key. So if B has public key as YB3 and A is choosing some random integer small k, so what is the ciphertext of M? Then if A now chooses a different value of K, so that the encoding of M is 30, C is equal to 59 comma C2, what is the integer C? So all of you, please take these values and tell me how to get. So ciphertext of M is equal to 30 means, so I should get C1 comma C2. So what is the value in part A? And in part B, we should find only C2. So all of you doing? So please confirm.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Yes, sir.
doing.
Okay. So just to see those equations, you can easily find out. But if you are getting a larger value, please tell me. I mean, we know the procedure. If there is a large powers, how to calculate. So to generate a ciphertext, we should know capital K by the user A. So what is the capital K?
Sir, 9.
Okay, you are getting 9 value, 9, huh? Capital K.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it will be 9, 9 only. 3 square means 9 mod 71 will give 9. Correct. Next. So capital K is 9. Then what is C1? Alpha power K.
Sir, C1 is 49.
Okay. Alpha is what? 7 square mod 71. So it will be 49. Correct. So what is C2?
C2 is 57.
57, sir.
So capital K is 2. M is what? 30. Capital K is 9, huh?
Yes, sir.
Mod 71. So it is 270 mod 71. So what is the answer?
57.
57. All of you got the same answer? So that means what is the C? C1 comma C2. That is
49, 57.
57. All of you got the same answers? So very simple. So capital K is 9. Once we know the capital K, we can find C1, it is alpha power small k mod q, and C2 is capital Km into mod q. So that is the option A is the 49, 57. Now here he is choosing a different small k, so that capital C is becoming 59, C2. What is the integer C2 and what is the k value also we have to choose. So how can we do this? So part B is getting C as 59, some C2 for same m is equal to 30. So what is small k? So C1 is equal to alpha power k mod q. So C1 is given as 59, alpha as 7 is a small k mod 71. Correct? So which value of k will give the remainder as 59 when we perform this model operation? So it is very
3,
difficult.
sir.
Ma?
3.
K is equal to 3, na?
Yes, sir.
7 cube is what?
343 mod 71.
Okay, very good. So 343 mod 71. So when small k is equal to 3, we will get this value. Okay? But as the large values are getting, suppose this is some very large prime number, then it will be very difficult in the root. Anyway, by ternary method, we can get easily for a small integer value. Next. So now, can we find C2? Once we know small k, so what is the capital K? Alpha power k mod q. So alpha is 7 power 3 mod 71. Tell me what is this value? So 59 only. Yes or no? Correct or no? Capital K is also 59.
Yes.
Sir,
So
it
that-
should be YB power K mod Q, no, sir?
Correct. So it is YB power small k mod k. Correct. So what is the YB given? It is a 3. So that will be fixed. So 3 power small k means 3 cube mod 71. So 3 cube is what? 27 mod 71. So what is the value? 27 only. Yes or no? So it is not alpha power k. Alpha power k is a C1 value. This is the one. That is the wrong. So now C2 is what? Capital Km mod 71. So what is capital K? 27 into 30 mod 71. So what is the value? Please tell me.
810 mod 71.
So what is the value?
29, sir.
So 29. So C2 is the 29. Is it correct? All of you got the same answer?
Yes, sir.
So any questions on this Elgamal cryptographic or encryption process. So there are multiple operations here. So please remember that. So one is key exchange, another is encryption also. Encryption. So two performed simultaneously, but in a Diffie-Hellman key exchange, only the key exchange will be happen. Encryption process is not done. After the exchange of the key, then only the encryption. So here in the encryption process, so there is an encryption as well as the exchange of secret key is also done. So clear, all of you? Any questions?
No question, sir.
Okay. So that is so we have so far we have discussed how many algorithms? One is RSA. Next, Diffie-Hellman key exchange, and this is the Hellman. So there is one more cryptography system, so which is called elliptic curve. So that so we need some basics about that. So we'll see the basics tomorrow, and maybe after that we will see the encryption process of this elliptic curve cryptography. Okay. So that's it. So thank you. You can attend another lecture. All of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.